Well, hello everyone.
I hate you so much.
Hello and welcome to Reflections here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. It is Wednesday, the 5th of June, 2024. I've got a very esteemed co-host with me, Mr. Ari Stamatakos.
Thank you. Esteemed. I feel honoured.
Esteemed, mate. I'm happy with you today.
Well, that insinuates that you are not normally, or that you sometimes are not happy with me.
Yeah, sometimes I'm disappointed, but I think
Good start. 36 seconds in. Nice.
Again, if you're gonna interrupt me, then you're gonna miss what I'm saying.
Sorry.
It's the art of listening. No, you've prepared yourself for this episode really well.
I have. Well, it's the benefit of not having uni to think or worry about. So, hence, I've actually done some prep work.
I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to be an elite show. If you're doing preparation, this thing just skyrockets.
Yeah, well, you did compare me to Charlie Curnow, and we all know what happens when Charlie prepares and gives it a bit. Take it up.
So, are we getting a Charlie Curnow talent version of you tonight?
Mate, when don't we? Am I right?
Well,
when don't we? You gave me the promotion 2 weeks ago for good reason. Been knocking on the door, and I think I performed well. We didn't address that last week. I think I performed well on 2 Mondays ago. Well,
I don't know how many more times I need to tell you that you did well. Ari, you did very well. It was an excellent performance.
Thank you.
I called you Charlie Curnow. That's what you got.
Yeah, and then the next week you called me bloody Alex Fasolo. So can't all get what we want, can we?
Well, when you're clipping up, ego-driven clips and putting them online just to float your own boat, then you're going to get brought down to earth. It's
called self-deprecating self-awareness, my friend.
Yeah. You got to move on from that, mate. You got to move on from that.
So,
by the time you're like 25, you're just going to be so far advanced.
Yeah, I'm going to be so good on 25. Jesus. Anyways, I'm just going to be like unreal. That's just life.
Yeah. So, so we have a bumper show tonight.
Yeah.
It's Essendon. Hey, can I tell you, the response on Twitter to the share your random memory, unrivaled this week. People really got into it. People are starting to understand what we're looking for when it comes to, those reflections and what we're looking for. Some of the things I read through in the replies I was like, okay, fantastic.
Perfect. This is, I feel like we might, this might be a real kind of deep dive into some traumatic but also happy memories. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I think we are starting to find a little something with this show.
It was always bubbling away, and then once you get those nuggets of gold, then it really starts to come through. It's come in its own. So this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
So if you're new to Reflections, welcome. We are basically going to go through a game against our opposition from our lifetimes each, Ari and I. And then we're going to turn the attention to those of you watching. You can share your random memories, or if you already have, we're going to go through some of them that you shared with us in the post today on Twitter. And the good, the bad, good memories, bad memories, just memories, reflections, and it should be a bit of fun. Something about Essendon, isn't there?
Yeah, it's I feel like this maybe rivals Collingwood. I feel like it definitely does rival it, and I would go as far as say some people would have this slightly above that, depending on who you ask and depending on which points in life you kind of were hit by and impacted the most, I think.
Can you imagine Essendon pinching the flag from us in 1993 and being alive and there for it?
That's the one my dad in particular goes, 93 stung a lot.
Oh, people go berserk when they talk about it, and I can only imagine it. Oh,
I can imagine we'll be reading and hearing about that as well a little bit later on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sure.
So who have we got here? Jason is here. We got Luca. We got Says. We got Kate, Christian, Joe. We got Pommy. Pommy's joining Reflections. Love it. Love it. Ari, there's your first request for the 1995 stat. We're going to wait a little bit before we get that one out of him.
Yeah, come on. I'm more than a one-trick pony.
John, mate, I'll tell you, if anyone's got stories about Carlton, it's John Holden. So we're looking forward to seeing what he has. Peter V. Bluebagger. Who else is here? We've got Tim, who said he cried in 1993. Fair enough. Lou Felino. We've got Winter 1429. Yeah, everyone's here. So, Ari, you're gonna kick us off with your memory. And yeah, I guess the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, in preparation for this, we both kind of mutually agreed that we felt it was right to address what happened last year. Because I feel like, especially if we're looking at it kind of in the moment, if we're thinking about the Carlton Football Club in the present moment, what happened basically 12 months ago to the day was a very, very crucial and kind of impactful moment. So I feel like it's only right that we touch on that before I feel like it's a rite of passage. Just touch on that, address it, and then we can really kind of push on for the later years. Now, as Terry said, I've done some preparation. So here's my little summation of the game in what I like to call Jared Waitley format.
Oh, wow.
So, without further ado, the stage was set for a season-defining 2 hours. It was the eve of the King's Day for the first time in a generation, and this marked the start of a tradition that was bound to set stage for blockbuster after blockbuster. The Blues had one last chance at reviving a suffocating season. Bereft of air from the moment the ball was bounced in Adelaide, it was only fitting that their last gasp came against a team who would glee at the opportunity to put the nail in the coffin. An opening half filled with twists and turns saw a dominant second quarter by the Blues, which, in typical fashion of their season to date, saw them trail by 2 points at halftime. It was a moment in time where Carlton fans all over the country sat wondering what their side would dish up in the biggest half of their season. Back pages were waiting for their headlines. TV stations were waiting for their talking points. Blues fans couldn't bear to imagine the thought of their season taking its final breath. As the ball was bounced for the second half, 93,500 people saw witness to the Blues' biggest nightmare. Of such, we hadn't seen in a long, long time. In brackets, if you choose to ignore Jamie Elliott. But we'll move on. 44 seconds in, Zach Merritt marks in the pocket. Goal Bombers. Guelphy held on to for a bit too long. Goal Bombers. Peter Wright left all alone in the goal square. Goal Bombers. High ball inside 50, pushing the back on Phillips. Goal Bombers. 50-metre penalty, right on the lead. Goal Bombers. From that centre bounce, Martin to Hobbs to Caldwell to Guelphy, back to Caldwell to Menzies. Goal Bombers. 6 goals in a flash. And then when Wright's sliding mark converts into a goal with 5 minutes to go, it was a 7-goal quarter to the Bombers. 1 for every loss the Blues had suffered in season 2023 to date. The last term came and went without much fanfare. The Bombers entrenched themselves into the top 4 race, whereas the Blues season took its final breath. At the end of the proceedings, memberships and scarves became projectiles as some fans had turned their back on the team they loved. Contenders to pretenders in just 3 months, the stranglehold was just too tight, the pressure was just too much, and with the entirety of the footy world looking on, the Blues tapped out. But by that point, it was just too late. They were void of any air, and with their fans looking on, wondering where it all went wrong. But the story doesn't finish there, because who would have thought the key to resuscitation was a 9-goal quarter against the Suns in the next week. And in an ironic twist of fate, the Bombers only kicked 2 more goals for the match, 1 for every loss the Blues would have in season 2023 from that point forward.
That was absolutely fantastic. That was
There we go. I think that's a good summation of the game.
one of the best things I did before this season started was watch that game again in the preseason, because we were riding high off the second half of the year, making the prelim. Everything was amazing in preseason because of, how proud we were of them. And actually, Pommy is the one that prompted me to do it. I had a phone call with him and he had watched the game. And he's like, I highly recommend you do it. I wanted to remember, like, how bad was it? Like, how bad did they really get? To be fair, they weren't that bad. They were just not able to execute.
It was,
particularly in the first half, it was painful.
Going back and watching that second quarter in particular, hence why I mentioned it. We dominated. We actually dominated that second quarter, and we should have gone in the halftime. Funnily enough, I was actually sitting with Jazz at this game, and I turned to her at halftime and I said, we should be 4 or 5 goals in front. And then what happened in the second half happened, and you kind of sit back and go, right, okay, are we actually this bad, or can we not execute? But then again, if we can't execute, then maybe we are that bad.
That bad, yeah. Yeah. I think everyone had their breaking point last year. I did so well to hold on. I could have just held on for one more week, but I definitely broke down completely after this one, round 13, 2023. So many things. Where do you start?
It's a lot.
Well, that was a year ago, man. This Sunday will be 1 year.
Yeah. And to think of the transformation, not only from, like, if you were to sit kind of 12 months ago and then tell us to look forward 12 months and to say, okay, where would we 7-4? If you were to sit to Carlton supporters at the end of the game last year and say, okay, this time next year we'd be 7-4 heading into this game, I think a lot of Carlton supporters would be like, yeah, okay, that kind of seems reasonable. Like, we maybe sack Voss, going to bring a new coach, turn it around, whatever, right? I don't think anyone would have thought what would have happened across that next 12, 13, 14 weeks.
No. I watched, so last night I watched my review. Rarely do I do that, but I watched my review from that game, and I watched the fan cams, not in its entirety, but the main bits, just to remember, like, it was like beyond anger. It was like beyond sadness. It was despondent. It was humiliation. It was, oh my God, it was the low point, wasn't it?
Well, because at that stage, the rebuild had failed again. Right? That was the rhetoric. That was the foundations of this club. All this stuff, which is a very... I think Richmond's, like to put it in perspective, I think Richmond supporters can sit back and look at their team currently and really accept what they've done, because it's a cycle of footy. They've just come off they've 3 flags in 4 years. They're in their down period, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They can accept that, right? Geelong supporters last year could have accepted their kind of dip in form, right? I don't think we can't accept that, because we haven't had that high point. So it's that mediocrity being the pinnacle and then back down the bottom only to reach mediocrity again is the really tough pill to swallow, which I think we had all broken at that stage last year, where we were like, we can't do this again. We can't, our pinnacle can't be mediocrity for another cycle of players.
Fuck. I remember I went on to the jumper punch that week. I still remember the photo of Rocco, Paul, and I. For some reason, I don't think Mars was there. I think he might have been away.
I was going to say, was he overseas?
Yeah, he might have been. Yeah, he was. He was overseas. That's right. Because then he called in from Tomorrowland a few weeks later on the fan cams. But I remember that photo taken that, like, we were, oh, mate. Yeah, it was the ultimate extreme. I got lucky with one of my calls back then, because I remember saying back then, you can't sack Voss. No. We can't. It's not the one. Build the department around him, extend him. On the other end, I remember Paul gave the nuke button on the jumper punch. That, like, it was just like, we were all just so lost for what to do, how to support. Like, how do you be a good supporter when you just keep getting let down? Um, and I'm glad that we somehow got through it. The players, and I mean Luke Sayers in particular, they had to cop a bit that night. Luke Sayers got spat on that night.
Did you?
Yep. Yeah, got spat on. Jack obviously gets abused. Personal attack on him and his family. Just ugly scenes. And then, I remember I had a 2-hour plus phone call with Pommy, and I was very close to just I thought it was just too much. I'm like, it's not good for mental health. I was struggling at the time with work, and then I was so close to just stopping. I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth feeling this way over something that's out of my control. And yeah, it was the first and only time I've ever felt like actually stopping it, even just like taking a week off. And I ended up doing the opposite and quitting my job.
Go full into it. Full deep into it.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I don't think we'll see something like that again. Maybe, let's say again, obviously, we probably will at some stage, but not in the near distant future, because I think because of what we did last year, that kind of gives us a little bit of closure, in a sense of when this group does end, like when this group of this cycle comes to an end, we can have that. We made a prelim as at least some bit of closure. Like, it's not the closure that we all want. It's not the closure that this group is destined, in my opinion, to have. It's not the group that it's not the closure that this group's talent should have. But should it be the case, we at least have that closure of, okay, we did this with this group. Whereas if we had sacked him, it felt like we were never going to get that closure. We were just going to be mediocrity, and we're going to turn over and rebuild again. And it felt like this group have just amounted to nothing, and the last 7 years have been a waste. That's where the extreme sort of emotions came out, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you got to also remember, end of round 13 last year, we've gone through over a decade of no finals, 25 plus years of, no premiership. The thing hadn't been done. We hadn't gotten further than what we saw the 2013 elimination final side do, or the 2011 final side do. We hadn't seen that. And so there was a fear of, were the foundations just so wrong that, and also 2022, the heartbreak, it was just, the fear was that we just got it so wrong. Foundations weren't set in stone, and this was our fate. But I think that I think the playing group had to realize that, yeah, they have the fans, but they really just have each other out there. It starts with them. They had to take that accountability, and they had to just dig their way and dig in. And credit to the club as well, because a lot of times we get to that point in our history, especially over the last 10, let's just say 20 years, we get to that point of pressure. And then external pressure from media is always there with Carlton. But then when it comes from the fans, we just make a knee-jerk reaction and we sack someone, coach, someone's the scapegoat, and we just sort of release the pressure. No final, so they play a little bit better, start a season again. It was just like that cycle. So to do the one thing that they hadn't done in a long time, and that's hold firm, is a credit to the club. And I think, now we have great memories finally.
It's a lonely sort of profession, in a sense. Like, when you're out, granted you have a team and it's not like an individual sport like tennis or something, but when you're out on the MCG, I can only imagine how lonely that feeling is, especially when the Bombers have just kicked 4 goals in a row, gone to kick their 5th. Your season is literally slipping away, and you can feel the pressure and the heat from literally every single person in the crowd, whether wanting your downfall or praying that it doesn't happen, and are angry at what they're seeing, right? So you have to you can't, we can only react to what is happening as fans, right? We can't turn. as much as we would like to, we can't make our team, the team that we love, play good based off what we do.
Yeah.
Right? We can only aid what is going on at the moment, and what we are seeing. So they needed to look within themselves, in a sense, as a group after that game. And I think you saw just by the way that we were playing in the second half of that year, it was a lot more selfless football. And I think that wasn't the case in this kind of the first half of 2023. And I think this was the kind of, not light bulb moment, but kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, because if we're all playing for ourselves out here on the MCG, we're losing by 40 points against the Bombers, our season's done. Whereas if we start playing for each other, then things turn, and they did.
Yeah. Do you have a passage of play from last year that never leaves you? I have one in my mind. I'm just curious to see.
That's centre bounce goal.
Oh, okay.
So,
my one is, sorry, you explain it. Yeah, go.
Yeah, it was the I've got it written down here because I've done preparation. It was the Martin to Hobbs to Caldwell to Guelphy to Caldwell to Menzies, just carved through us straight down the middle from the centre bounce, and it was happening. So I sat behind the goals on the other side, so where we were kicking in the third quarter. So I literally saw it happen like in front of me. But it obviously, as they were going forward, they were getting further and further away from where I was sitting. So it felt like it's just getting further and further away from what I want it to be. And they obviously kicked the goal, and the game was basically done from there.
Yeah. Mine was Aiden's touched on it here. Jack Silvani kicks it into our forward 50. Charlie and Owies both go for it. Both see each other. Both don't go for it. The ball just spills out. And it was just like, Yeah. Yeah. Man, they aged me so badly. I watched my review, man. My face was breaking out on this side so badly. Oh, man, my face was white. I think I did the review the next morning pretty early, so I looked tired, but I also was emotionally exhausted. I think we did Port Adelaide as well last week, and I looked at that like, wow, what they can do to me, like after a bad, like demoralizing loss. Like I just see it all over my face, and I forget games and I forget reviews, but then when I watch them again, I remember exactly what was happening. And oh man, they aged me so bad.
It was horrendous. I can imagine for you it'd be different because you kind of have to wear the burden of a lot of people, like by proxy, right? But I think it's a lot of mental kind of, you take it on when your team sucks. It feels like you kind of it feels like you've done something wrong when you haven't, like everyone, right? When you haven't, we were just chosen. We support Carlton. We didn't choose to. It just kind of, they chose us, type thing. And we kind of have to wear the burden of every bad defeat.
Yeah.
As fans.
Fan cams is like, it's an energy exchange. And I remember that night in particular, I'm already feeling what I'm feeling, and then you listen, and it just reinforces that like sadness. I remember finishing fan cams that night, walking like 3-4 steps right into the living room and just like falling onto the carpet and just laying down like one side of my face and just laying there for genuinely like 5 minutes, and then turning over on my back. And I reckon I laid staring at the roof. I'm not even kidding. Probably like half an hour, like just like, why? Like, what are we doing? Why?
Yeah. It's, I think, what are we doing is the unbelievable kind of question when it gets that bad. It's like, what are we actually doing here?
Yeah.
Like if you like in that situation, it's so easy to break it down and to realize how insane we all are. 22 blokes who don't know us, who don't really care for us, kicking a ball around. The 22 other people kick a ball better than them, so all of a sudden we feel this horrendous emotional pain. That's when you can break it down, when it's going really bad, and actually understand, and actually like realize how insane we all are. And then when you pick yourself up and teleport 24 or 14 weeks into the future when Blake Acres kicks a goal in Spelman, it's like, oh, this is all worth it. This is great. This is the best thing ever. So
Yeah. Pommy said one of his funniest quotes ever that night. Do you remember it?
Is it something about Lewis Young was? I was closer to my ex-girlfriends than Lewis Young was to Peter, right? Yeah.
I'm closer to some of my fucking ex-girlfriends than what Lewis Young was on Peter Wright tonight. But like he wasn't even mad. He was so calm in the way he delivered it. Still makes me laugh to this day.
Yeah, can pull out some one-liners.
Controversial opinion. Would you bring in Lewis Young for Peter Wright again and just say, "Hey mate, go again"?
No.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask the question.
Shut up. Yeah, that's it. Let's bring Alex Silvati back out of retirement and see if he can go on Buddy one more time. Let's do that.
Yeah. Nah, bless him. All right. So that's last year. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
Thank you.
Ari, sorry, go.
No, thank you.
Well done. Very good.
Thanks.
John Holden said it in the chat earlier. You should be doing your homework every week because if you're going to be delivering things like that, mate, the show will go only as far as you research.
Yeah, well, I can't whip out those kind of that I can't even think of a description for it. I can't write up that sort of thing for like a loss against Melbourne in 2014. You know what I mean?
Why not?
Because this game has real emotional substance and weight.
Yeah, of course. It's not going to hit like an Essendon speech, but I mean, you spend 15 minutes preparing something on a Sunday night when you don't have work.
15. That took me 5, man.
Took you 5?
Let's go with that.
Yeah. Did you chat GPT it?
No.
Okay.
It's not a uni assignment. Why would I chat GPT it?
Sure. No, very good. Very good. So, Ari, how old are you?
20.
20. When's your birthday?
April of 2004.
April what?
28. This is the second time you've asked me.
Yeah, I've actually forgot that you're an April boy as well.
You're April 9th?
No.
15th?
18th. Yeah.
Close enough.
So, when I was 21, I went to my first final. So, I'm going to do that game. It was Sunday, the 11th of September, 2011, 2:40 p.m. I didn't realize it was September 11. There you go. 2:40 p.m.
God.
The elimination final at the MCG in front of 90,161 people. Obviously, 2009, we play finals, the heartbreak against the Lions. We've covered that on this show. 2010, we play the Swans in Sydney. We lose that one, heartbreaking fashion. We covered that a few weeks ago. So this was like the third crack at it. And it was the first time it was played at home, the elimination final for Carlton. And I just remember being so excited, like beyond anything. I just felt like we've done our time, the experience. You got to learn how to lose finals. You got to take the lessons. And, the team was in its prime. Murphy was in his absolute prime. This was his career best year. Juddy had come off a Brownlow the year before. This was it. This was the group. This was it. This was our time. We came up against the Bombers, and there was a bit of talk and speculation that was mounting on Brett Ratton before the game during the week around if we had lost this game, the question marks around his future would have been raised. I've got no doubt, based on how the club was back then as an organisation, they probably would have sacked him if we had lost the game or lost it badly. Such was the way in which we acted back then. But that was happening. I remember the walk there so clearly. I remember being so hyper aware. I remember telling myself in the moment to remember each and every snapshot that my eyesight could deliver to me, because just to soak it up. It was so good. We start the game. Do you have any memory of this game, by the way? Nothing? Okay. We kicked 5 behinds to start the game.
Yes, this I do know. In hindsight, in retrospect.
Who kicked the first goal of the game?
For us or generally?
In general, it wasn't us though. So there's your clue.
No, I know it wasn't. It was it Angus Monfries? Was it Jake Carlisle?
Yes, it was. It was Jake the Snake Carlisle.
Jake the Snake.
He kicks one. You're like, we were all over them. We just weren't converting. Dempsey kicks a goal. Then Monfries kicks a goal. So they've kicked 3 in a row. I remember 5-19, I think it was at the time. And I just remember being confident. And then I just remember when Monfries kicked the goal, that seed of doubt started coming into my mind. And I thought, uh-oh, don't tell me it's going to be one of these days. Like, can you imagine kicking 5 behinds to start the game? Like, all the hype. And they kick 3 in a row.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't even.
So danger signs are there. Now, who kicked Carlton's first goal that day?
It was. Get the applause ready because I do know this. It was Santantera helping.
Do you remember how he kicked it?
No. God, no.
Okay. When I did my research for the game, I was reminded. So he takes a strong mark at the top of the goal square and plays on in traffic and kicks it on his left. Like,
oh God, okay, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, he plays on, kicks it on his left. Couldn't believe it, but whatever. We're on the board. Then Walker kicks a goal. We settled into the game. Jeff Garlett kicks 2 straight. We're leading by 9 at quarter time, and it's going okay after how poorly the start was on the scoreboard. We're going okay. Tate Pears gets subbed out with injury start of the second quarter.
Who?
Tate Pears. He was actually a solid defender, just, unlucky.
That's niche.
Yeah.
That's niche.
Mitch Robinson with a great running goal. G's up to the crowd. Thornton takes a contested mark, kicks a goal. Garlett gets another one. He basically ran. So Thornton takes a mark top of the goal square and just like a little to Garlett. Garlett runs through, kicks another one. We're up 59-24. And then Eddie Betts kicks a goal. I mean, he just kicks like a long ball and it just bounces through congestion. It goes through. And then at that moment, I remember thinking, okay, it is our day. The magical things are happening. The la-las.
Yes.
Yes. Bruce McAvaney's call of that moment is fitting because he says it's Carlton's day. And then pretty much from then, it was recollecting it and watching the highlights again. It was one of the best days of my supporting life, no doubt. Seriously, it was magical. Given what I had watched up until that point in my life, we kicked 10 goals straight.
Fuck. That'd be handy. That'd be handy this weekend.
We led by 41 points at halftime. Simo kicks a goal in the third quarter with 14-11 to go to put us up 85-37. Judd kicks a goal in traffic, 10:47 to go. Gibbs kicks a goal. Judd takes the infamous mark, 3 minutes, 24 seconds to go in the third. Gibbs kicks his third goal with 1:50 to go in the third. Marcus Davies comes on in the fourth quarter. Dustin Fletcher has a head knock. And then a really interesting moment happens, which had a bit of repercussion for the week after. So Betts kicks his fourth goal in the goal square with 10 minutes to go in the game. Gibbs falls over like awkwardly. It was a really weird, I don't even know how he did it, but he fell on his shoulder, hurt it. He ended up missing the following week. And this is the scoreline. 21 goals, 23, 149 to 13 goals, 9, 87. It was magical.
Inaccurate.
Very inaccurate.
Could be more.
A complete battering.
Yeah. Imagine conceding 87 points and still winning by 10 goals.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, it's one of the best days out at the footy that I can remember. And I felt vindicated because of what we had seen the last few years, the heartbreak and I guess the story of, learning from your mistakes. And you got to find a way to play at the home in finals. That was the lesson. I knew that from back then. So, yeah, that was 2011 elimination final.
There you go. That's interesting. The fact. So just quickly, you mentioned Marcus Davies. I mean, he played 17 games in his career, and 3 of them were finals. That's got to
Yeah,
be
man.
some sort of like a ratio record, surely.
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So I want to do a bit of trivia with you.
Oh yes, obviously.
This player had 37 possessions, a goal, 3 tackles, 8 inside 50s, 6 clearances. Who was it?
How many possessions?
37.
Oh, Murph. Yeah, shock.
Yeah.
Shock.
Yeah, he was unreal that day. Judd didn't really have a great game.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm.
Kicked the goal though, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he kicked a goal. He had his moments, but he didn't have that prolific Chris Judd game that we had become accustomed to. Bryce Gibbs kicked 3 goals and he had 17 possessions. One of the best games I think he has played for the club. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we had like Yaron, Walker, Thornton, Robbo, Garlett, Armfield, Laidler, Lockie Henderson, Ellard, Digan, Jamo, Aaron, Joseph. Like it was that kind of era.
Yeah,
all the boys.
This is for those who know, this is prime AFL Live on the PS3. This is prime that team. Yeah.
So yeah, that was my memory. That was a great day. Wow, that was 13 years ago, man. That's crazy. Life just flies. You just I understand it when people say it now, like, oh, you'll blink and you'll remember you were 21. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess.
Probably one of the better days in the club's history up until last year.
Yep.
Probably better than Richmond.
Well, Richmond, 2011 was ours. You could never take it away from us. We earned the right to be there. 2013 was kind of like, we pinch one in a final series.
But I also think that makes it better. I also think that we weren't meant to be there. We weren't meant to win. It was Richmond's best season in like a long time, and we were 32 points down and still won. And I just feel like, it's pretty good. But then again, smashing Essendon by 10 goals in a final.
Essendon by 10 goals in a final. Come on.
It's pretty good as well. It's pretty good. You know what? Let's not compare them. They're both equally good.
Yeah, and that was my peak. That was the peak of my toxicity as a supporter. I was like toxic to my friends. I was insufferable. Wow, there was no such thing as a blue abroad back then. Like, wasn't even in the realm of my consciousness back then. So it was good to get one on them. They're dogs. The absolute dogs they are.
There's one of their many finals losses since 2004 as well.
Yeah.
One of their many.
So, yeah. Now, I want to... Oh, any questions? Anything else that I have missed, maybe? Before we move on to the people?
Oh, from me? Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think you covered that. Right?
Good to go?
Yep. Good. Okay, so Dan Andrews.
Talk about what?
Don't worry. I said settle down, Dan Andrews, because he used to say that when he used to do his press conferences. Don't worry about it. That's fine. No? I thought it was funny. Don't worry about it. Well, I really come crashing down in the last 25 minutes, haven't I?
I just wanted you to sit in that for a bit, just to let you... I don't want to tell you what's what. You can, realize it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got it. I got the hint.
No, so I'm going to play... I actually brought one with me. So I asked people to recollect and reflect their memory. So those of you watching at home, if you haven't sent through a random memory from a game against the Bombers, chuck it in the comments now and we'll get it up. I'm going to read through one in particular that I had no memory of. Let me just find it. I think the year was 2003. Oh, yeah. So Nathan Duckworth. Round 3, 2003. The sound of Ryan Houlihan kicking the most perfect drop punt to ice the game. To do that with a waterlogged ball in in the driving rain takes exceptional talent, as does the chainsaw celebration that followed. I went and took the clip. I've got it here. Take a look at this. I don't remember this happening, so this was nostalgic for me.
At the moment, another goal here, either way, is just ultra valuable. But Camporelli decides to get as much distance from fullback as possible. It might come straight back in. No, good play by Hume. That's the sort of football that Gary Lyons called for. Good play by Favola. Read it, then beat his man. 2 bounces, then loses it. Little toe poke was magnificent inside to Houlihan. The mercurial one, will he have a shot? He does, and he puts it right through the middle. Kicks his second, does the chainsaw, and so he should, because that is a ripper. You know, when you play footy sometimes...
Pretty good kick.
In the long sleeves, Ryan Houlihan, mate. Yeah. Once upon a time, that was Pete Carlton.
How was the moves from Fev, from a young Fev?
Yeah, that was cool. Got some doozies here, man. Some of the detail that people went into. Jimmy Faz, 17 years old, took my then girlfriend on a date to the game. Fev kicked 8 goals to win us the game from 40 plus down. But the real memory was big Lance Whitnell moving into the midfield to get us back into the game. Oh, and my girlfriend dumped me the next day.
Stiff. Poor Faz.
Very stiff.
That's the infamous comeback. I think that's the game that like every supporter, probably my age or like around about my age, first ever like knows. Because if you type up Carlton highlights on YouTube, that's the game.
Yeah.
Fev kicking 50 points down.
Yeah.
That's what a game, Fev.
How's this for a random one? This is from Ashan. Matthew Watson kicking 4 in a game where both sides choked 5-goal leads in a game that ended up in a draw.
That's 2014.
Must have been.
14 or 11 when we drew to them?
We drew to them in 11. Did we draw in 14?
Yeah, last round of the year. Second last round of the year. It was
okay.
90 all. Might have been that. I don't know. Was Matthew Watson around in 2011? I think he was. Or maybe not. Anyway, it's probably 2014. Probably 2014.
He was definitely around from 2012 onwards, I think, 2013 onwards. Yeah. Alex K Alpha, round 18, 2011, watching Judd Murphy, Betts, and co absolutely obliterate the Dons after halftime. Also watched the greatest mark I've ever seen in my lifetime. Jake Carlisle is nothing more than a step ladder for Andrew Walker. Can you believe Andrew Walker didn't win Mark of the Year? I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
That's actually a disgrace. Betts kicked 8 that game as well.
Yeah, he did. He did. Judd had 33 touches, I think, that game. Wow. It's why it's so important to get things right, significant events right, because the more and more that time goes on, the worse and worse that decision to not give Andrew Walker Mark of the Year is. Well, it's just disgusting.
It is clearly Who won that year? Was it Jamie Elliott?
No, it was Andrew Cracker.
That's it. It was a Collingwood player. Yeah,
good mark.
Good mark. Yeah. Yeah. Good mark. It was a really good mark. I remember it now. It was against. I think it was in Adelaide. Anyway. And then that's just that's just unbelievable. Like how? Yeah, that's an absurd mark.
Yeah. There's been a bit of a reference here to round 20, 2000. Friday night, 91,000 fans, first versus second. Kuda injuring his PCL. I think John Holden put it here.
Yeah.
One of the worst was round 20. Bradley tears his hamstring early. Kuda does his knee, and the season's over. Wow, imagine that.
This is another one my old man speaks about.
Really?
Yeah, because he goes in 2000. Obviously, Essendon were really good, but we were like up there. Kind of, if any team was going to beat them that year, it'd be us. Obviously, back off the back of 99, and Bradley tears his hammy, Kuda does his knee, and then I think Sauce might have gotten injured after that or not long before, out for the year, I think, and that was season done.
Wow. This one's great from Jay. Great. Cam Wood keeping the ball in play with scores level and about 45 seconds to go when it was going through for a rush behind. Wouldn't have done anything for our season, but ending it with the win over Essendon would have been nice. I think that was the draw in 2014 that you mentioned. Yeah. Waverley Park, round 2, 1993. Kernahan's post siren out of bounds on the full when even a point would have won us the game.
From like it was like from a relatively tight. Was it from a tight angle? I
think so.
I think if I'm remembering the footage correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine Kerner doing that. Oh, don't even.
Kerno doing that in this day and age with fan cams and like.
No. Imagine if it was Harry.
Oh, poor Harry.
No, I couldn't. Nah, don't. I'm not even gonna just. We're not moving on. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Let's not manifest that. No way.
Malcolm was at the 99 prelim sitting next to his mate in the southern stand all week leading up to the game. He wouldn't shut up about how they would beat us by blah, blah, blah. Loved him eating humble pie that day. Love that. The 1983 Escort Cup. Never had witnessed a grand final loss in my first 11 years of being on this earth. Whenever I see the visions of Tim Watson jumping over a player to kick away, still makes me ill. Love it.
That's unreal.
Love it.
Surprised 93 hasn't been mentioned yet. I'm assuming it probably was before, but
wow, interesting. Yeah. The 2000 game, the build up was somewhat similar to this week.
Yeah, because I was obviously a year after 99 as well. And if you want to speak about Carlton, Essendon memories, speak about 99. And another game which is like for anyone born in like the immediate aftermath, not immediate aftermath, but for anyone born like relatively after that and like grew up with Carlton football in like the early 2010s, I feel like the 99 Prelude is another game that you just don't, that it's drilled into you, everything about it. Yeah. Watching that on replays and stuff. What a time to be alive that would have been. Jesus.
Oh, check out this. I don't know who this person is. MD 1941. Bahaja ripping Dool's headband off and throwing it into the crowd. VFL Park 83 elimination final.
That headband sacrosanct, I know.
Was anyone in the chat there that day?
Yeah, I love his story about that. That'd be insane.
Yeah, that's really I don't think I've heard that one many times. Wow. Oh, mate, take a look at this. How's this not mark of the year? What do you mean?
It's actually absurd. The fact that there was no hands involved.
Yeah.
Like it's pure jump. It's pure leap. It's pure vertical jump. And taking it, it's because he took it on the chest. That's why. That's why they're probably like, no, we want people taking it out in front.
I think it's one of the greatest marks the game could show.
Oh yeah, if you want an advertisement for the game, and because like Andrew Walker, right, super talented footballer, right, and good athlete, like good endurance runner, pretty quick, blah blah. He's not like a Barty Franklin sort of athlete. He was never like a supreme athlete. But for him to do that is like fair.
Cooter's last quarter of the 99 prelim, 12 disposals, 6 marks, 2 goals, put the Blues in there.
I think that quarter, the guys from Supercoach have gone back and reviewed it. I think that is the highest scoring Supercoach quarter of all time. I think.
Right.
Which goes to show just how just absurd he was.
This is interesting. I remember this one. Essendon 14-15-99 defeated Carlton 15-8-98 at Princess Park round 2019-81. Mike Fitzpatrick was controversially penalised for time wasting.
I've heard about this. Heard about this.
Yeah, what happened? Can someone, Sandra, thanks for that. What happened? Like, what do you mean penalised? Like, how? Maybe I should look it up.
This is something that I've definitely heard about.
I don't think I have.
Through the grapevine and through kind of stories being passed down. Yeah.
Mike Fitzpatrick
wasted time and held onto the ball too long. What did they just give the ball to the Essendon player?
Well, I've got a video. I found one.
Oh, great. Here we go.
We'll play it.
I mean, make sure it's good first.
Should be right.
Okay, well, we're risking it.
The Bombers are alike now. They've got to score pretty quickly. Nagel to the right, half forward flank. Fitzpatrick in the front of the pack on his own.
Good luck.
Takes the mark. I don't think that did his hand much good either. But cool in the crisis, Mike Fitzpatrick will go back for the kick and is going to take plenty of time. Why shouldn't he? Under a crowd, and he's probably been the best man on the ground.
Oh, you're kidding! Just calling the play on?
Well, what a gutsy umpiring decision. Now Fitzpatrick taking a week and a half and has to surrender the ball. Good umpiring.
That's unbelievable.
What?
That's unbelievable. Was play on not a thing?
Yeah, didn't they call play on? What happened there?
That's bizarre. That is bizarre.
Oh.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. There you go.
Yeah, so Lou, in 1981,
Surely
did the
play on was a thing.
Yeah, did the play on rule not exist?
That's weird. That's imagine if that happened today. Oh god.
Oh,
Oh god. That would be Jesus.
wow.
Play on was not a thing. Wow.
It did. Play on was not a thing. Really?
Imagine if that's weird.
Okay.
There you go.
1990, round 7 at Windy Hill. Reece Jones kicks 5, win by 20 points.
That really shows.
Round 3, 2001, upset of the year. No Bradley, no Kuda, no Sauce. Camperelli running outside 50 and kicking a goal. First moments of Houlihan's check. Oh, okay, yeah, that was a combined one. Do you remember this? Peak lockdown.
This was, punching it through. No, it came off his head. He didn't punch it through. It came off his head.
He falconed it.
That was unbelievable. That's great. I remember watching that, and obviously the broadcast was directly behind Townsend, and looked gold. Looked like it was sailing through, and then they cut at the very last moment, and you just see it bonk off his head and go through for a point. Wow. And how's the 50 as well? Because ironically, do you want to know who kicked the ball to Townsend for Essendon that day?
Who?
Adam Sard.
There you go.
There you go.
A bit of context in that 2000 game, Carlton had won 13 and around the Bombers 16. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we were like the only team from what I know and from what my dad's told me, we were like the only team that could have ever beaten them that year, in like when it mattered. So yeah. John Holden with some context from the Bruce Dool one. I remember Budgie doing it. Dool reached down and took the spare one from his socks and played on. Also, Jimmy Buckley wrestling Budgie. Oh, that's so cool. Bruce Dool. What a like a he's like a myth. It's like he doesn't exist because he's just like it's like this lore. If anyone who didn't watch him play, like neither of us watched him play, he's just like this mythical figure that just like reigns over the Carlton Football Club that no one knows anything about. It's great. It's awesome.
Well, the other thing about Bruce Dool, yes, 100% spot on, but I think also the way in which people consumed footy back then.
Oh, that's also.
As in, if you didn't go to the game and it wasn't on the television, you would sit around a radio and absorb audio and use your imagination to picture where everything was. Do you think that I can't even imagine it. I can't.
Yeah, that's such a I couldn't do that now. I get like not antsy, but I get like uncomfortable when like I have to listen to it. Like if I'm in the car and like I can't watch it. And, like I'm in transit. I'm in the car listening to it. Like,
I remember listening to. I played basketball on a Friday night when West Coast and Collingwood drew in their final, and I remember listening to that on the radio. So it's not like I haven't listened to footy on the radio, but like when that was the only option, that's the part where I'm just thinking like, wow, there would have been a lot of, you had to use your imagination and a lot of fantasy.
And sometimes your games weren't even broadcast on radio. You had to wait for around the grounds.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Imagine being St Kilda back in the day.
Oh God, what's it go?
Yeah. In 1981, the play-on rule wasn't a thing. It should have been a ball up. Bloody oath. That's the first time I've ever seen that footage.
I've heard about that moment. Like I remember, like my old man definitely speaking about that to me. But that's the first time I've ever seen that footage. That's fascinating.
Wow.
That's fascinating.
Aiden, Jack celebration versus Essendon 2016, pissing down in the rain, iconic. Wasn't this 2017? The blew out Guernsey in the rain.
Did we beat Essendon into it?
Petreski Seaton kicks.
I think it was. We beat them in 2016 as well. I think 16 was dry.
The Murphy banana? No.
It was one of the years, regardless. We're nitpicking here. That's like a very iconic Carlton photo.
That is.
Like, yeah, it's an awesome photo. Awesome photo.
Yep. Stephen Dunlop, I can remember around 2012, 96-point win was one of the first games I'd been to. Amazing win. Had so much hope of playing finals after that.
Levi Caswell kicked the goal of one of the best goals I've ever seen in this game. Do you remember it?
Was this the double Falcon?
I think
double
so.
Cobra?
He was running on the boundary, 50 out, and kicked it. And Basil Zemplis was commentating. It was the worst commentary of all time. But I remember I was like, that has to be like the best goal of all time. Like similar to Jack Higgins' goal earlier this year against Collingwood for St Kilda. But this ball was actually in play. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Kathy, 1993 was a nightmare. I was there. I haven't been to a Blues and Essendon game since. I loathe them. Kathy, are you going this week? Surely.
93. See, continue, read on.
97. Greg Williams' 250th. Diesel's last match. Kernahan's last win. Porter's first game. Thumped him. Porter's to Bradley out of the middle. Goal. Amazing.
That 93 win, not a loss, I should say, a win for Essendon. I can't imagine not only losing a grand final to Essendon, right, but having that be like one of their crowning moments in their club's history. Like similarly to how I think Collingwood fans of an older generation would feel about the way that we won 70 or like stuff like that. Like iconic moments in our history came at the hands of beating Collingwood. I can't imagine how it feels to like have one of Essendon's greatest ever moments be kind of at the hands of us like that. For people who like lived in and experienced it, that just would have been hell.
Mm-hmm.
Just would have been hell.
Stephen's heading down this weekend. I remember this. Jeff Garlick getting run down by Dustin Fletcher.
I remember
that was 2010? No,
11, because it was the draw.
I was in Sydney for, do you know Armin van Buren? Trans DJ?
Brother, my music taste is Sabrina Carpenter and Lewis Capaldi. What are you talking about, trans DJs?
Okay, so the answer is no.
Yeah, no. God, no.
Anyway, he used to do a weekly show every Friday would come out, and to celebrate his 500th episode, he would do like a number of shows around the world, and he came to Sydney. And I drove up that weekend and I watched that game, 2011, from the hotel. I remember that so clearly.
Interesting. I was at that game.
Really?
Yeah, don't remember it, but I know I was there.
93 grand final loss scarred me that much. I missed the 95 grand final because I never wanted to go through a loss. Really, John? Wow. Fair.
John, did you go to 99? Wow. Because I wonder if you went to 99 after that.
How could it not scar you? It's the worst possible memory, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, wow. Yeah, don't even. Yeah, God. Goodness.
Meat Wagon, round 13, 2009, the day Michael Jackson passed. 20 points up midway through the second term and ended up getting flogged by nearly 70 points. My first game at the G. I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that. Round 2009, we were half decent. that stage.
Oh, it was like the beginning, the real beginning.
Yeah.
Great reminder, Dens. Ari.
I don't know, man. We can't break the kind of juju of it being after the games.
We've been doing it for the last 3 weeks.
I didn't give you one last week. Did I?
We did it. Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You gave us one. Oh, you know what? I've got amazing footage that I want to share. So did you know? So John Holden didn't go to 99.
Okay,
Did you know that
yeah.
he partied with the boys in 1995 at Norton's? Do you know that there's video footage of it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, check this out.
Winning Blues to find out who's winning the Premiership off the field.
Keeping up the grand final tradition, the Blues were determined to show some off-field stamina. Their next port of call was Norton's pub in Carlton.
There's some big reputations here, and some have outperformed themselves the last couple of days, I assure you.
And showing no signs of injury or fatigue, Fraser Brown. Even though the celebration started 3 days ago, the grand final victory is just starting to hit home.
I think it's finally sunk in. It hasn't sunk in for me. I'm just relieved that it's all over. Stop drinking.
When we're by ourselves, that's when it'll sink in.
While the players have had enough of the theme song, they were still willing to do it one more time.
I don't particularly want to sing this song, but this is for Channel 10 News, all right? So can we all go
Johnny Holden.
Unbelievable.
Can you imagine that? Partying with the boys after 95? How good is it?
That would have been unbelievable.
It's like it's one of the best memories you could have.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
How good.
Unreal.
Yeah. Very good.
There you are.
There you are. Best day ever. Now, what would that look like? What would 2024? Where would the boys go?
Electric. Yeah. Electric. Emerson. Electric Emerson. Yeah. Probably. Osborne, maybe.
Osborne, yeah, maybe. All the
160 if they feel like a bit of that music.
Yeah.
Probably
All the Hawthorn boys were at Electric last weekend. All of them.
Were they? That's interesting.
They were.
They don't have the buy.
Yep.
They
might
have
be getting a little bit ahead of themselves.
7-day break. I think you're allowed on a 7-day break.
Yeah, fair.
I think you're allowed. I think 7-day breaks you're allowed.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Oh no, Alhambra. Yeah, Alhambra maybe.
Alhambra's closed, isn't it?
No, there's a new one. They should go to Revs.
You been to Revs?
God no. God, that's I'm far too clean cut for that. Come on.
Yeah, true. Yeah, give it a couple of years, mate.
I would not survive in Revs.
No, I can't imagine you would. Can't
No, God no.
Oh dear.
That would be good.
Yeah,
partying with the boys after a flag. I feel like it'd be far more. I don't think it'd be as open as what it was in '95. Like you could just go and just kind of rub shoulders with Diesel. I don't think you could be rubbing shoulders with Charles.
Nah, you wouldn't be able to get anywhere near him.
Nah, that'd be rightly so. In fairness, I think.
Yeah. So this Sunday, what's the feeling?
I'm confident. I don't think I can go. I don't think I'm going to go into any game for the foreseeable future not confident, unless something drastically goes wrong.
Yeah.
So could definitely win. The occasion doesn't worry me because we play the occasion as well. So that doesn't worry me. If we maybe the scars of last year will be there. Whether or not we use it positively or negatively will be a different story. I would love a 2-hour massacre more than anything.
I know.
More than anything, just a start to finish. Like a Pedovic says in the comments, I want blood. I want metaphorical blood all over the MCG.
I want him leaving at 3/4 time.
Nah,
That's
half
what I
time.
want.
I want.
Oh, you want?
Is there a fire drill halfway through the third quarter?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, I want. Yeah.
Mm.
You know what? I
Aiden,
don't even care about the score. I just want to brutalize a brutal game of footy. Where we just not bash them literally, but
yeah.
in the contest and just
Mm.
too strong, too fast. That's what I want.
Yeah. I'm reading something here. Josh Gabelick is
Yeah, I did say this.
hoarding that Alex Chincotta will secure a new deal at Carlton for 2025.
Lovely.
How good. It's
Well
great news.
deserved.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Does he go straight to Z Merit?
Yeah, you'd think so. That would make sense.
I think he starts on Nick Mahant at centre bounces.
Mm.
And then as the play progresses, he moves up into the midfield and goes on Zach Merritt. And then I think should Zach Merritt go forward, he doesn't follow. He then transitions maybe to just stick on Nick Mann, or Stringer. Yeah, Pedovic says Stringer. That'd be good. Because Chincotta can go with him physically.
Can he?
Stringer, yeah.
I was thinking Stringer's like a McGovern matchup.
If he moves into the midfield.
Okay, yeah.
Which I don't think he will, but should he?
Kathy was at the 1970 grand final. Amazing.
There you go.
Well, you've seen the best. You're the golden era.
Yeah, the proper golden era.
Yeah.
Over that 70s, 80s, yeah, the proper golden era.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's reflections. That was fun. It was great. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. See, Ari, what happens when you know?
What's funny?
Nothing.
When I what? Can you get a fish sentence?
Yeah, when you just do some research. I thought you were fantastic tonight. You should be proud, but I don't want you to get too ahead of yourself and next week just roll in.
No, I'll probably be doing that. Well, next week we have the bye. Are we doing reflections of the bye?
No, we won't do reflections next week. Next Wednesday night. So the schedule is going to be condensed. Sunday, well, firstly, 2 teams streams. Tomorrow, as the extended teams are given. Then Friday, when we get the final teams, we'll do a final team show. That'll be from 4 p.m. I'll be hanging out. Sunday, watch along with Pommy. Sunday night, fan cams with me. Monday, Blue Abroad show, 7 p.m. Straight after that will be the Almost Blues Brothers show. Tuesday will be Footy Abroad. The ratings will be done next Wednesday night at about 7 o'clock, I think. So, yeah, a bit of a different one. Also, I had to think about it. When we do reflections, when we come up against Geelong or teams that we've played for the second time, do we want to just do the last time we played them and just sort of discuss a bit about what we've learned, what we can do better?
Could do that. I also think we've. Yeah, could do that. We could just speak about another game.
As in, we covered all the memories, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay, we'll start thinking about what we could do.
Yeah, but we could do that. Yeah. You are the boss at the end of the day. I've got no say.
It's a collaborative environment. I'm telling you so you can get ready.
Hear all the buzzwords. Collaborative environment. Have you heard that one before, folks?
Yeah, you don't hear it because you see it.
No, it is. It is very much a collaborative environment. I add that to my vernacular.
Yeah,
for sure. What do you
see what happens when you listen? You pick up gems.
Yeah, well, maybe you should. Maybe you've become more intelligent since you've been doing the show with me.
Did you just ask me a question?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I did actually. What are your thoughts on the cap?
Wow, Ari, thanks for asking, mate.
No
Oh.
worries, bro. I got you, my guy.
My thoughts are I'm confident with a better team. Anything can happen. I think we'll win by 27.
Like it. Yeah, it says we forgot spoiling the party in 2022. How funny was that?
Spoil the party in 2022.
Was it 150th year? Dyson Hepp was in the circle doing these ones, and then we kicked the first 3 goals of the game. So good.
That was first half of the year, right? Obviously.
Yeah, it was about this time, 2022. Yeah, it was the week before we lost to Richmond. Yep.
What?
Remember when we lost to Richmond in the wet at the J halfway through 2022?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Because Charlie Curnow said yesterday on his interview with Billy and JB that they had beaten us a couple of times in a row, and so I was thinking, like, what happened in 22? But I couldn't really remember.
They've beaten us once in a row.
Yeah.
Because in 21 we smacked them. In 22 we won. In 20 we won.
2021 was the best day at the footy that year. Bar none.
That would have been. I didn't go. Was it Greg A-Star? I didn't go. I'm annoyed.
Was it?
Yeah, well, yes, it was. It was because I was at lunch with a bunch of Collingwood supporters. Not good. So yeah, that was good. 2020, obviously we covered. 2019. Oh yeah, we know what happened in 2019. Yeah.
That was the day Pommy debuted.
Was it?
Yeah, 5 years ago. I was working at the Port Adelaide Gold Coast game. That happened at the same time.
Did you work for Port Adelaide?
Yeah.
You should mention it more.
No, I didn't.
Does Ben go to Harry? I got really scared then. There's like someone just broke it through the door.
Oh, did that scare you? Sorry, mate.
Yeah, it did actually. Does Ben go to Harry?
Yeah, surely. He's not playing on Charlie, is he? Like that's not the move.
Because Ridley's back. They might do something. I don't know. But for their theatre, they should start in the goal square together next to each other, just for the theatre.
What happens how does Harry play?
Well,
yeah,
because like unironically, like jokes aside, I don't think they're going to see each other much in the game. Genuinely, I don't. Harry's going to move up the ground. Ben will play spare. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be one-on-one all day. I don't.
True. They want Ben in their defensive 50. We want Ben out of there.
Yeah, for sure. Harry will go into the ruck. We'll go deep. Yeah, no. I like jokes aside. I genuinely don't think they're going to see a lot of each other. But I just think for the first and a bounce, just put them next to each other in the goal square and just clear out. I think that'd be great drama, great theatre.
It would be. Yep. All right. Well, that's us. Ari, well done. Thank you very much for your work and your effort. And thank you to everyone that tuned in. Any last words, mate? Any last words of wisdom you want to part with?
No.
That's it.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's us. Go Blues. See you, everyone.
Go Blues.